missed you in the ring. What took so long to get this fight done?
Well, I don't know what took so long to get the fight done, but originally we was looking forward to securing the Manny Pacquiao fight, and we couldn't get that fight secure, so we had to go on to the next best thing, and that was Shawn Porter. So we here now.
Yeah, Shawn is a fighter who comes forward. He brings the fight every time. What do you expect for your fifth welterweight title defense against the biggest name that you faced so far?
Well, I'm expecting Shawn to be, 1,000% ready. He's talented in the areas that he's talented in. But again, every fight that I fought since moving up is supposedly be the biggest test and my biggest fight of my career and whatnot. But I'm just excited that I get one of those guys from PBC to be able to silence my doubters.
What's going on, you guys? So, Terence Crawford, Shawn Porter. There's going to be a lot of discussions in regards to that fight. Terence Crawford detractors seem to have manifested some new nicknames for him. What is it? What's the names? Terence Bud Crawford, Terence Duck Crawford. So a lot of dudes out there, you have a certain amount of dudes out there that believe Terence Crawford is a duck, a coward, et cetera, what have you. A lot of these dudes are hardcore, diehard Spence fans, if I'm honest. But Terence Crawford said he's looking to silence these guys. These guys pay attention to the critics. They pay attention to how their name is being maneuvered through the boxing airwaves. And yeah, he's looking to silence these guys. There's a narrative out there that Bud didn't want to fight nobody, that Bud's scared to fight PBC guys. I don't know where people got that type of notion from, because once upon a time, you couldn't find a Crawford detractor until he started pressing Spence. I don't know how many times I got to say that, but that's really what happened. You couldn't find a Bud Crawford hater until he started pressing Errol Spence, and then that's when things start to get really hectic. But he said that him and Shawn Porter are friends right now, something to that effect. Of course not. Of course not. You guys got to fight. There's no, I can't pull my punches, bro. You know what I'm saying? Shawn Porter looks pretty big, too. You see Shawn Porter preparing for this fight, man. He looks huge. I question, is he going to make this weight comfortably to be able to deal with Terence Crawford? Shawn Porter been at the weight division a long time. A lot of fans don't really seem to look into those type of details, but that's one of the main details that I look at. Shit like that. Of course, Shawn Porter's style may pose some problems for Terence Crawford, but there's a lot of other things that leads me to believe that Terence Crawford is going to be more than ready for Shawn Porter. Shawn Porter been cutting that weight for a long time. He's a guy that started off as super middleweight, fought at middleweight, and he worked his way on down to 147. And he's been squeezing down to that weight for a long, long time now. This is probably one of his longest times off outside the ring. He hasn't really been stopping anybody. His last stoppage was against Paulie Malignaggi. So I'm not seeing where people say that Shawn Porter's going to stop Terence Crawford. I don't understand where they get that from. But Shawn Porter hasn't stopped anybody in quite a while. Even guys that we felt that he should have went up in there and ran him out the ring, like Sebastian Formella, he went the full duration of the fight with that guy. So yeah, one may assume that Shawn Porter is really depleting himself at this point of his career, at his age, to make that weight class. So it may have been time for Shawn Porter to move up, but we go see. Shawn Porter's a professional. We know he's going to make weight. We know he's going to be in shape. We know he's going to perform to the best of his abilities. But he's been doing this for a long time. And that goes for Errol Spence, Keith Thurman. Those guys have been at this weight class for a long time. How much longer could they compete at a high level, depleting themselves? So, yeah, it's going to be a really good fight, man. But what's really interesting to me is that PBC, I got to hear from Keith Idec, and Bruce Trampler retweeted it from Keith Idec. Keith Idec is the he the Yahoo boxing guy or whatever he is. Keith Idek's been around for a long time. He's a boxing writer dude. And Bruce Trampler is a matchmaker, I believe, for Top Rank. So he's a guy behind the scenes making things shake and move for Top Rank. And he retweeted PBC informed Top Rank before the initial purse bid was postponed that it was not interested in a joint pay-per-view venture for Crawford Porter. That remains true throughout the negotiation process as Fox isn't involved in their fight November 20th, strictly an ESPN pay-per-view show. Now, this is totally different from what I originally thought what was going on. I thought, ESPN was the main one fronting the bill, but it was like, PBC. PBC ain't got shit to do with this. They didn't even want to do a joint promotion. And it seemed like if this fight wasn't mandated by the WBO, I could almost say at 100% that this fight wouldn't even have happened. But since WBO stepped in, the pressure was on, and let's be honest, Shawn Porter fought everybody. He fought for every belt except for the WBO, I believe. And, he fought everybody but Terence Crawford. So this fight really just made sense. And it would have been a travesty if they pulled him out of the purse bid or if they just pulled him out of negotiations altogether. But we got to fight. Shawn Porter's walking across the street, something that Errol Spence didn't even do. I made Spence fans mad the other day. And I just told him the truth. Like, look, man, Shawn Porter going across the street, regardless of how it got made, regardless of WBO, mandate this fight or not, Shawn Porter walking his ass across the motherfucking street. He knocked the little barricade down that Spence and his fans put up. He knocked it down and said, I'll go over there and see what Terence Crawford talking about. And that's what's about to happen. So salute to Shawn Porter, man. But yeah, this changes things for me too, as far as should Crawford, what should he do next after his contract is up? Honestly, the best option is free agency. I don't know if it necessarily will be PBC. I think he should leave his options open at this point of his career, to be honest with you. Even though PBC is where all the food is at, it's just not guaranteed. They don't seem to really, I don't know. They let him get shine. So we'll see what happens after this fight. But I think that Terence Crawford should have should free himself up and just, he got a big enough name in the sport to be able to kind of move around and get certain offers for certain guys, et cetera, et cetera, et cetera. Actually, Terence Crawford should be getting paid more anyway. Why? Because these fighters want a lot of money to fight him. So that should automatically boost up his what he's worth. He's getting a $6 million purse for this fight. Shawn Porter's getting a $4 million, so it was a 60-40. And then the purse bid with the WBO. So, Terence Crawford getting $66 million plus pay-per-view, and Shawn Porter's getting $4 million, I'm assuming, plus pay-per-view. So, yeah, good payday for both guys. Crawford's career high payday. We're not sure if this is Shawn Porter's. PBC do it. They tell us on paper that, he's getting a $2 million. I think the Errol Spence fight was but they both was getting like $2 million up front. And then whatever else they was getting on the back end, pay-per-view. You know how PBC does it. They claim that the numbers that they show us aren't the real thing, but who knows, right? Who really, really knows? All we know is that Shawn Porter's getting $4 million against Terence Crawford. That's $2 million more than he was originally guaranteed against Errol Spence Jr. on paper, okay? So take it for how you will. But either way, this is what boxing needs. Boxing needs flexibility. And it's not like the UFC where it's a monopoly or, where it's only 2 major promotions or maybe 3 promotions. But in boxing, the top fighters are literally spread out amongst all the promotional companies. And in order for you to get some of these more intriguing matchups, you got to do business with these guys or be willing to let your guy go over there and, have confidence that he can go over there and beat their guy. It's shit like that, man. Boxing gets really complicated, but nonetheless, man, these dudes was coming for Bud. Terence Bud Crawford. But he's looking to silence these dudes too. Like, subscribe, hide your boy. Peace out.